We've got a Floyd Rose in critical condition. Allen wrench.
Doctor, we're losing him.
Not on my watch. If you've ever spent more time tuning your Floyd Rose than actually playing it, congratulations, you are in the right spot. Today we're gonna finally stop the bridge from having mood swings. Here's the thing, your Floyd Rose isn't broken, it's just dramatic. Every time you try to tune one string, the others go out of tune because the bridge is trying to achieve balance, kind of like a yoga instructor on caffeine. But don't worry, by the end of this video, your bridge is going to be stable enough to pay taxes. Now, I'm not restringing the guitar today. We're only going to level the bridge and get the tuning stabilized. For a video on how to restring a Floyd Rose, check this out up here. So before we check the patient's vitals, I will just say that this guitar is tuned down a half step to E flat, but I want to bring it back up to standard tuning. So while the bridge is level now, I can promise you here in less than 1 minute, this bridge is going to look like a ski jump once I start tightening those strings back up to E standard. For this job, we're only going to need 3 tools. We're going to need a 3mm Allen wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a guitar tuner. Any of the tools I used today, I've linked down below. First thing we're going to do is take our 3mm Allen wrench and loosen the locking clamps on the nut. Now I'm going to start tuning it up, and I don't need it to be 100% precise because you should never tune a guitar while it's laying flat due to gravitational pull, which will give you crappy tuning. But we're just trying to get it into the ballpark. Now here's where a lot of players lose their sanity. As you start tuning it up and you check the tuning again, you quickly realize that every string that you just previously tuned is now out of tune again. That's the laws of physics in action, and the laws of physics are undefeated. Now at this point we can see that the bridge is starting to look less like a Floyd Rose and more like a diving board. So how do we fix that? Well, we've got to do a little bit more surgical procedure by going into the back of the guitar and adjusting the spring claw. With the back cover removed, we can then see the spring cavity and the spring claw. And what we're going to need to do is to counteract the pull of the strings, we need to create equilibrium by tightening the spring claw. So we're going to take our Phillips head screwdriver and we're going to turn it in a couple of turns. Just make sure that you screw both screws in evenly so that the front edge of your spring claw is parallel to the front edge of the cavity. Then we're going to flip the guitar back over, go through the tuning procedure again, and see where the bridge is sitting. So the goal is to tighten the spring claw in the back so that the bridge sets level and not look like the Titanic going down in the North Atlantic. So let's go back through and check our tuning. Okay, just as I suspected, now it's showing we're sharp. So I'm going to start lowering the pitch. So that procedure could take a few minutes because basically you're trying to reach equilibrium between the strings and the springs in the back. We want equal pull between the two, and that's what's going to get that bridge level. But it can take some time for us to find that equilibrium point. So let's go back and see where our bridge is setting. We're in the ballpark of where I want the tuning. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be yet. We just need to get it close, and then we can make fine tuning adjustments from there. It's actually looking pretty close. It's still a little bit higher at the back end of the bass than I'd like it to be. I'd like it to sit a little bit more perfectly parallel with the top of the guitar. That is our goal, is to get it parallel with the top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the guitar back over, give the spring claw another turn, and then go through the tuning process again. Now here's the secret tuning hack with a Floyd Rose. Don't try to tune each string up perfectly. Just do a little bit on each string and go through that procedure a few times until you start getting it closer to being in tune. Now right there, we're really close to being in tune. So let's check to see where our bridge level is sitting and to see if we need to make any more adjustments to the spring claw. Finally, we have stabilized our patient. If we check, we can see that the base of the bridge is pretty level with the top of the guitar. Just keep in mind though, depending on the severity of how far out of level your bridge is, you might have to go through those steps a few more times. Now, what do you do if your bridge is sitting opposite of elevated and it's actually in a reclined state? Well, you go through that same procedure, but instead of tightening the spring claw, you're going to loosen it up. Remember, the goal is to provide the balance between the pull of the strings and the pull of the springs to where they're both balanced out. We have finally reached equilibrium, meaning that the Floyd Rose is not fighting back anymore. It's almost like you can hear angels singing, or it could just be the springs in the back making that noise. Now, as a pro tip, before we get to the final tuning and lockdown on the nut, just make sure that your fine tuners are at about the halfway up point, meaning that you want them at about the 50% mark on the threads, because if they're threaded in too low and you need to raise the pitch, you will run out of adjustability. If they're threaded all the way out and you need to lower the pitch, you're going to run out of adjustability, meaning that you're going to have to unlock the nut, tinker with the tuning pegs, retighten the nut down, and then go back through the fine tuning. But you can eliminate a lot of that by just making sure your fine tuners are about halfway up. Now that the patient is stable, let's check for any post-op tremolo spasms. Sounds good. If this video saved your Floyd Rose from the scrap heap, hit that like button before I scrub out. And remember, not all heroes wear capes. Some wear scrubs and tune guitars. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down there. And until next time, keep rocking on.